Hey there, and welcome to episode 7 of Wrestling with the Mind. I'm your host, Matt Sigmund, health coach by day, professional wrestler by night. And today I'm excited to share a conversation I had with my friend David Clair-Bennett. Although this was not the original plan, I sat down with one of my best friends, Chase Owens, on Saturday. And we sat for about 36 minutes in my car recording a really solid episode that I was so excited to bring to you all today. And I didn't realize at the time, but what we were recording on, the Bluetooth speaker was connected to the car, but the car's audio system was turned off. And so none of the audio actually recorded. Now, I could have let this absolutely ruin my day, and I let it get me in a negative mind space for about an hour. And then I decided to look at it from a different perspective, that although the episode didn't record, I did get to sit down and have a good amount of time with my friend Chase, who I don't get to see all that often. We live pretty far apart now. He's always over in Japan, so I can look back at that time at least and appreciate that we did have a moment just to sit and chat together. But today I am excited to bring David Clair-Bennett, who is a voiceover artist, a screenwriter, and a very strong supporter of the show. And I'm excited to share our chat around mental health and some of the events he has going on in his life with you today. But before we dive in, as we have done the past few weeks, I would love to do a guided meditation just to kind of get you in a good, relaxed mindset. If this is not your thing, you can fast forward about a minute or so and hop right into the chat with David. But if it is your thing, I encourage you to sit back and enjoy. Begin by sitting in a comfortable position. Soften or close your eyes and direct your awareness to your breath. Breathing gently and naturally, simply follow the rhythm of your breath. As you breathe in, feel your stomach and lungs expanding. As you breathe out, letting go. Breathing in, feel your body getting fuller. And breathing out, letting go of any tension or stress. Breathing in, feeling alive and awake. Breathing out, feeling calm and relaxed. On your final breath, lengthening the breath and breathing in deeply. And letting go slowly. Now let's dive into our chat with David. Hey, so I'm sitting down here with David. David, thank you so much for coming on today. I know it was a last-minute shift. You've been somebody that I've wanted to bring on the show for quite a long time, and I had planned on it in the weeks to come, and now we had a shift with a wrestler I was going to have on today, and I messaged you last minute, and you've saved the day. So thank you for taking some time out of your day to hop on here and chat about mental health with me.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. I'm a big fan of the show. You know that.
Oh, yeah, and I appreciate that too. You've been a really strong supporter here since we started this thing and helping us get the word out a little bit, and just been very uplifting with some of your posts and encouragements around the show too. So I do want to thank you for that. Before we dive in, I would love for you to have a chance here to introduce yourself to everybody, because we do have a lot of a wrestling community that tunes in, but a good general audience too. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So my name is David Clair-Bennett. I am an actor. I'm a screenwriter. I'm also a voiceover artist. If you watch the popular YouTube channel Looper, Watch Mojo, those type of top 10 type of videos, you probably recognize my voice. But other than that, I'm also a huge professional wrestling mark. No shame. I've worked for a company called Asylum Pro Wrestling, APW. I was a backstage correspondent. Actually trained to be a professional wrestler about 10, 11 years ago at Covey Promotional Wrestling in West Virginia in Paw Paw. So I'm a huge wrestling fan. I want to get back into the wrestling business, and I want to do more. But I also have a movie coming out called Survivor's Choice. It's a horror psychological thriller coming out actually next month, March 6th, on Amazon Prime Video featuring Academy Award nominated actor Eric Roberts. And that should be fun. I wrote that movie with the writer of the Saw films, Pete
That is
Goldfinger.
awesome. I've seen you share some of, I think the opening scene is available to check out, and I've seen you share some of the promotional stuff around it, and it looks like a really fun adventure. And you've got this on Prime Video, and in just a couple of weeks, so this is great. We could check it out for sure. What was that experience like in getting that movie on Prime?
We talk about mental health, right?
Yeah.
It was a lot on my mental health. It was a very long battle. We were actually talking to some pretty famous companies about distribution, but I'm a first-time filmmaker in the sense of a feature film. I've done a lot of short films, but this was my first ever feature, and I went through a lot of bad experiences with my mental health due to this film, and a
Okay.
lot of legal stuff that held this production from happening, a lot of
Yeah.
first-time amateur mistakes.
Okay. So some trial and error, and
Yeah.
we always have these learning experiences. From the pro wrestling side of things kind of fall apart on us all the time. It's a roller coaster of good and bad, and we just over time develop the ability to learn from those mistakes or just challenges that you run into, and then adapt and move on. So I assume it's a little bit of the same in that world of film screenwriting and things.
Absolutely. You fail, you get back up, but you try again, you never stop.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. That's wonderful. In terms on the mental health side of things, in terms of that, what does good mental health look like for you?
So every day, I'm glad you asked that. Every single day, before I go to bed and when I wake up, I say three things that I'm grateful for. With my wonderful partner, Caitlin, I don't hope she doesn't mind me name dropping her, my girlfriend.
It's out there now, right?
Yeah. I always make sure we do not go to bed without saying I love you to each other, no matter if we're upset with each other, which we never are, but if we were, because we're not guaranteed another day with anybody, with
So
you,
true.
with me, with
Yeah.
anyone. So I wake up every single day and I say three things that I'm grateful for, regardless of the mood I'm in. And if I'm in a bad mood, I try to tell myself just because I'm having 10 minutes of a bad day, this 10 minutes does not dictate the 23 hours and 50 minutes for
Right.
the rest of my day.
And that is a wonderful way to kickstart your day. That is a wonderful way to wrap up the day. When you started implementing that into your routine, how did that impact things?
Tremendously. It had altered my mindset because I'm pretty open about this. I suffer from a binge eating disorder. I'm about 9 years in. I'm a recovering addict from food.
Okay.
So I'm always struggling with that. So this had completely altered my mindset once I looked into meditation, the affirmations of positivity and motivation. As cringe and cliche it may sound at first, once you actually can put yourself into a third perspective and look at these things with a new insight, it can absolutely alter and change your mind forever for the better.
Yeah, and that's great. The talk, the positive talk before you go to bed with the three things you're grateful for, and the three things you wake up and are grateful for. That too. A lot of people do this through journaling. Some people will do it through talking with somebody like their partner or whatnot, or even to yourself. What works best for you in that regard? Is it something that you're just kind of talking to yourself about, or through prayer, or what does that look like for you?
Every day I'll say it, whether it's to myself, but usually I wake up next to my girlfriend and I'll even ask her, hey, can you tell me three things that you're grateful for? Just not try to like shove it down someone's throat, but also
Right.
try to be like, it's important to also look at things this way. And she's always open to it. And I just think it looks best that way.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think everybody should try to find ways to implement something like that into their wind down routine and into the way that they're waking up each day, because something as small as that, and it may, like you said, it may sound cliche, it may sound just silly, but if you start your day off with an approach like that, it can make such a big difference in how that rest of the day shapes up for you and your mentality going into whatever the day might bring on, good or bad, right?
Yeah, your attitude dictates the rest of the day potentially.
Yeah. So a little bit here, you said you did, or you said you do the voiceover work. How did you get into that?
I actually have no voiceover agent. I've never had a voice acting agent. Honestly, a lot of it, a lot of it is just reaching out to various companies, trial and error, like we talked about before,
Right.
and just present yourself as a professional, make it look like you have an agent, Put
Yeah.
everything together, splice everything together professionally. I pride myself on professionalism. I always try to go above and beyond, and I do those things like creating a demo reel, and I'll send it out to various companies.
Mhm.
I will go through and find people's business emails. I will find inquiry emails, and I will make things as quick, short, sweet, simple, to the point as possible. And I just try to reach out and lend my services for voiceover and try to get some help. And usually nobody responds, but the one that does can be the one that takes you off. And I was
Wrestling
grateful for the.
wrestling is a lot of the same. We are
Hmm.
presenting a product in ourselves. We are the product as wrestlers. We are what we are
Hmm.
trying to sell to the promoter and to the people. And so you can get 100 no's when you're trying to get bookings out there and get with certain companies. And then, every now and then you get that one yes, and that can turn into so many opportunities. And I feel that this applies to so many areas in life too. And the way you're approaching it sounds great to me. Communication is key in so many areas in life. And I feel that just being open with communication and trying to reach out and touch base with all these people, out of sight, out of mind. But if people know who you are, they see you from time to time, that's going to open some doors in one way or another for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself.
What are some ways that you prioritize self-care in your routine? I know you stay busy with screenwriting and doing the voiceover work, so how do you implement self-care for you?
I would say personal training. I do a lot of personal training on the side. I've actually lost 125 pounds
Okay.
and a long time ago, but I'm very big on physical health as well as emotional and mental health, of course. So just keeping myself active in the gym. I track my calories, I track all my macronutrients, everything. That's a really big important factor. I'm sure you're well aware of this being a professional wrestler.
Yeah, nutrition and fitness are both big keys that I try to continually expand my
Mhm.
knowledge on. And I used to calculate and track macros a little bit more than I do now. Now I try to just focus on making sure the foods that I'm eating are very nutrient dense. I go for the healthiest options I can find. And I still eat junk from time to time, don't get me wrong. But for
Yeah.
the most part, my mindset now is trying to get the most bang for my buck in terms of what I'm getting in. Is it processed? Is it just added sugars? Is it junk really? Or is it
Yeah.
stuff that food the way God intended it for me to take in, and I still eat, meat and things, but I have shifted my mindset around a lot over the last little bit from seeing various friends in wrestling and how they've changed their habits and mindset. A lot of wrestlers used to be chicken, rice, beer,
Yeah.
steak, and that was about it. And
Hmm.
now it's expanded a whole lot into actually trying to take care of ourselves in better fashion and aiming to keep important things down like cholesterol and keeping our hearts healthy and our brains healthy. So, yeah, for sure, it plays a big role here. Do you find the gym to be a good form of stress relief for you?
Oh yeah. Easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
That's where I get in the zone, and that's where all my stress just it melts away.
Hmm. Yep.
And I mentioned this in the podcast too. I started off with working out in the evenings. That used to be my go-to time, and now, kind of like that way, you want to start the morning with those three things you're grateful for. I have
Hmm.
to start the morning off with my workouts just to have a good mindset throughout the day. That's where I'm relieving stress on the front end or prepping my mind for the day ahead. When do you get your training in?
It used to be in the mornings because I could look at it as a way, well, I already got it over with.
Hmm.
But now with my work schedule, it's just in the evenings. But my girlfriend and I go on gym dates, which has been awesome having a partner to do it
Hmm.
with.
Hmm.
It just makes a heck of a difference.
A wonderful extra form of support and accountability, and
Hmm.
you get the health benefits from it too.
Yeah,
Yeah, awesome.
great.
When you see others who are struggling, and with social media, we do see a little bit more openness about this. People make posts. I've seen you post about mental health a lot. When you
Hmm.
see people who are going through a challenging time, from whatever it may be that's impacting their mental health, what are some tips that you have for them, or what advice would you give to those who you see who are struggling?
Talk to somebody. anybody. Even posting it on Facebook or Twitter or social media of any type, that's a good step. That's the willingness to communicate. And I think that's like a really important part right there. Just the willingness to communicate, whether that's to a friend, a family member, a loved one, whoever it is, to talk about it. Don't be afraid to talk about it. Don't worry about being labeled something you're not. Don't worry about being judged. Worry about getting help. And the best way you can do that is, again, communicating. So just talking to somebody.
So many things about what we do in our professions and industries we work in, as well as mental health. It really does all come back to communication on a lot of it, and just being able to reach out to somebody for whatever it is you're needing at the moment. And people are willing to chat with you. There are people who are willing to sit and listen and help and give ideas if needed, or just be a good sounding board for you. And I encourage you guys, if you don't have those people, reach out to me, message David here, and I'm sure one of us, we can point you in the direction of some good resources and people that could help for sure. Let's talk a little bit more on the voiceover work. I'm intrigued by this because it's always been something I've been interested in. How long have you been doing this now?
About 4 years professionally.
Yeah. Do you enjoy it?
I love it. I'm trying to get a full-time job doing it so I don't have to go to work, you know?
Which aspect do you find the most stressful? Is it the voiceover side of things? Is it the screenwriting? What profession here, entertainment-wise, do you have the most stress from?
Probably the voiceover, just because a lot of people don't realize we have to edit the voiceovers ourselves. And whenever you get into voiceovers, you start realizing what mouth clicks are, which once you realize you do that all the time, everyone does it. It's natural. But whenever you send it over to clients and such, it's like, hey, this is really annoying. So then you got to find out about softwares like Isotope, and then maybe you speak too fast, maybe you speak too slow. A lot of your clients will have preferences. So it's not really as simple as just reading something on a script. It's so much more than that. But the screenwriting is extremely therapeutic for my mental health. I love writing. Like, I love it so much. So I don't have a single bad thing about it.
What makes it a good form of release for you? Like, what do you find about the screenwriting that's rewarding? Why is it a good form of mental health improvement for you?
My dream has always to been able to write a film or a scene that I would want to watch as a viewer. And I'm able to create that scene. No restrictions, no limitations whatsoever. I'm able to put that down, pen to paper, and then I can read it and read it from a third party perspective. I'm able to put myself in that mindset of, does this suck? I can be honest and say, yes, this is terrible. Or I can say, I would watch that. And if I say I would watch that, that's all I need sometimes. I'm doing what I want to do because I love this.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this because I want to do this. And life is so short to not do what you want to do.
Life is ridiculously short. I was looking today at pictures of my daughter. She turns 5 this year, and it is honestly a blur. I remember my parents and, just older people in general used to say, time goes by so fast when you get older. And I remember as a kid, days would go by just so slow, it seemed. And now here, this year alone, we're halfway through February. And yesterday I was just watching the ball drop, for the 2023. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's just scary how fast time goes by. So I think pursuing your passions while you have the ability to do so is very important, at least to me and to my mental health and my journey. I feel that if we don't take advantage of it while we can, there will come that day when we absolutely regret not sending out that message, not trying to pursue some avenue, and not reaching as high as we can. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's funny you say that. Speaking to the wrestling audience, tragically, we lost Jay Briscoe recently. Yeah. That was just the ultimate crush. It was just like when Brody Lee passed away. That was very hard for me as a fan. I didn't even know the person.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show how quick we can go. Mm-hmm. 38 years old, I think Jay was. He had these beautiful daughters, and thankfully they're okay. Yeah. We're very grateful for that, but we lost Jay.
Wrestling has so many dark points, especially guys dying at a young age, and often it could be self-inflicted. In Jay's case, it was a car wreck, but you do have to. These are precious few moments that we have to make the most of. I wasn't really close to Jay. I think I saw him last. We did the NWA Crockett Cup last year, and I think that was the last time I saw him and interacted. But even that 2 minutes that I got to talk to him, it was nothing but great. It's just a wonderful guy, supportive of the whole locker room, and always great to see him, and watching his work too. The way that he was able to connect with a crowd was amazing. And so it's really cool to see too, just how big of an impact that he did have on others, just watching through social media, watching through the posts of others, and watching the outpour of support that people gave him, and the family through like the GoFundMe that they set up after he passed away. So it's really neat, and it's cool to see all the love that Mark's getting too out of it, and just him carrying that on. And what a strong-willed and strong-minded person he is, for just full of faith and just pushing forward. I think that's awesome. The movie that you got coming out, when it hits Prime Video, how's that going to impact your nerves? What's going to be the mindset on release day?
Okay, so I'll let you know something. It accidentally got leaked back in November on Prime Video. Again, I'm a first timer. I made a mistake. But for those 3 days it was leaked, it was hit with very negative reviews, which absolutely impacted my mental health. Yeah. So I want to make this clear and say we had basically no money to make this movie. We had a person with a $10,000+ camera willing to help us for free, and we had a bunch of actors willing to just make a beautiful project come to life. And Eric Roberts is a personal friend of mine who did this as a favor for me.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and it's just really like a lot of people were attacking it, but I think they thought we had a budget, which I don't know is an insult or a compliment, but I'll take it.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't understand when you are trying for a passion project or trying to build something up, and it's one of your first times out here. It's really you're putting your toes in the water in this realm. And I think it is highly commendable, just the fact that you made this and are pushing it, and give it the support it deserves. I know I'll check it out, and I'll be sharing it as soon as it is available, not leaked, as soon as it is actually available for us to check out on Prime. And that's really cool. Any other cool projects you got coming up? Anything outside of the screenwriting, or are you doing more screenwriting? What's that looking like for you over the next few months?
Yeah, so I'm actually writing an Airbnb horror movie. I can't really talk too much about that, but I'm writing with someone really famous. Okay, let's just leave it there.
Yeah, and you're having fun with it, right?
So much fun. I love writing a booby-trapped Airbnb. It's fun.
My tag team partner, Elliot, when we do travel, he is in charge of our hotel accommodations most of the time. I let him do that because I handle most of our bookings and things, and I let him pick the travel side just because it's a stressor off of me because I've got so much going on. And most of the time that's a mistake, because we will wind up at the worst Airbnbs you can imagine, and I'll sit there laying in the bed just looking around, nervous all night, and won't get any rest at a lot of these places we wind up. So I think a horror movie set around that is a fantastic avenue to go down.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing I'm writing is, I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, so like Drake and Josh and Keenan and Kel, The Amanda Show, all those Nickelodeon shows were my childhood.
Yeah.
I've been writing a passion project with my co-writer, Russell Ketterman, who's also starring in Survivor's Choice alongside me. We've been writing a show called Struggling since 2009. And we're going to professionally shoot a pilot sometime this summer with Tracy Fisher, who's like a pretty professional actor. He's been in a lot of Lifetime and Hallmark movies, I believe.
Okay.
But we're going to shoot a pilot and try to shop that around for a network to find a home for Struggling. But that's like a family-friendly comedy sitcom.
Yeah. So, well, good luck with that. And I'll have to keep track of that as it goes on. And then the next time we have you on, maybe you'll have a good update in terms of that. Yeah, for sure.
Let's hope so, yeah. That'd be fun, man.
Bouncing back to mental health as we do look at kind of wrapping up here. Any just words of encouragement or advice you would just have for anybody listening in general right now?
Yeah, don't lose hope. Honestly, do not lose hope at all. Always communicate to somebody. Don't worry about scaring off somebody. Don't worry about not opening up, because that not opening up could be enough for you to just not have the resolution that you could have had, if that makes any sense, you know? Remember, I don't want to preach this on anybody, but it really does work for me. I don't know if it'll work for everyone, but saying three things I'm grateful for, over time, it seems less cliche, because I was one of those people, you know, I didn't believe in yoga, meditation until you do it and you take it seriously. And just saying the three things you're grateful for can really change and alter your impact on life itself, for a better way. That makes
That's
sense.
awesome. Yeah, I think that's powerful. And, you know, I know we talked on the front end just about that gratefulness starting and ending the day, but I think hammering it at home, that can be a good practice for anybody to implement. And it's something easy and quick. You can take that moment, that 5 minutes, and it's free. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's free. And you know, if you do need kind of some help and guidance around that, you can talk to somebody about that, about figuring out what you're grateful for. I mean, there are people who can walk you through some of those steps as well. Before we do finish up, where can we find you? What's the avenues on the socials where we can check out David?
You can find me on Twitter at David Clair B. That's Clair, the letter B after that. You can just type me in on Facebook, David Clair-Bennett. There's a hyphen after the Clair. B-E-N-N-E-T-T, tribute to Jeff Jarrett right there. Which I know you know all too well.
Yeah,
so I won't go.
His damn guitar hits my head too often.
Hey, ESPN loved it. That's all that matters, right?
That's true.
Other than that, yeah, just a Google search of David Clair-Bennett. I'm really big on TikTok, while not big like a following big, but like I'm very big on that platform, very active. I like to help others with relationship advice, life advice. We talked about mental health, gratitude, all those things I like to talk about under David Clair B, or again, just type in David Clair-Bennett on those platforms. And Survivor's Choice drops on Amazon Prime Video Monday, March 6th, 2023.
Let's check it out and leave some nice positive reviews. Get it some steam, right?
Better than those leaked reviews.
Yeah, well, the leaked people, they don't deserve to review it. They checked it out too early before the ball really got rolling, right?
It's all good. I'm grateful for them giving it an opportunity. You will never please everyone.
You should see some of the messages I get from matches I have.
Oh, no.
You get people that love it, and then you're not everybody's cup of tea, and that is totally okay. The good thing about wrestling is it's something for everybody. Like there are different platforms and different types of matches and different types of wrestlers for everybody. There's something that different people will enjoy. You can find it in wrestling.
Yeah,
and any form of entertainment, really, in general.
I really get upset when I see everyone's like, "Oh, you like AEW? I hate you. Oh, you like WWE?" I mean, I just love wrestling, and I'm happy everyone has a job.
See that, and that's my approach too. I'm just happy that all my friends are getting to put food on their table and pay their bills.
Yeah, that's it. Just be happy for them. There's an alternative, and there's New Japan. There's all these companies. Just be happy. Be grateful.
True. So true. We could be grateful for that too, right? That's one of my grateful things for today.
Same here.
Yeah. Well, I thank you for carving out some time, especially last minute. I thank you just for diving in here to some of the mental health aspects of your journey. Just appreciate beyond what I can say that you were able to hop on here last minute. So everybody go check out Survivor's Choice, right? That's the name of the movie? Survivor's Choice, and check out David there on social media. David, we thank you, and I hope to have you back on down the line, okay?
Yeah, just hit me up and I'll be there.
All right. Thanks, man. I just want to thank David again for hopping on here and saving the day, so to speak, and giving us some good content for this week and a wonderful chat. If you haven't done so yet, please go to WrestlingMind.com for all things related to the show. There you'll find the links for all of the subscription services that you can catch us on. Find your favorite service, download, review, subscribe, share. By doing this, you help us grow this podcast and reach so many more people. We appreciate all of the support. As always, go on our social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram, Wrestling with the Mind. Follow and share any of our posts. Thanks again for tuning in, and we will catch you next week. Get out and do something awesome with today.